Welcome back to Bullet Catcher Gaming. This is of course Ghost Recon Breakpoint. This video is going to be the Mark 18 test and review, but before we get on to that, let's get on to some other business quickly first. You might have heard about the Delta loot. We are offering Delta loot, but we only have a very few amount of these, so what we're doing is we are giving them away in competitions. If you would like to try and win one of these, all you have to do is jump onto the Discord. The link is in the description below. It's also on the front of the channel. Also, before we get on, thank you to all our recent subscribers. Massively appreciate it. Now, these competitions, we currently have a Wildlands photograph competition running on the Discord. If you're into Wildlands, you can win one there. We have a brand new Breakpoint photo competition that begins today. Actually, it's probably started by the time you watch this, of which you can also win not only a Delta loot code, you can also win this. This is the Coyote AR-15. It's been provided by Danger Close Digital, which is Jeremy, who does videos with us and is on the podcast with us. It is a model replica. I'm going to put the specs up on the screen right now so you can see them. You can also win that as well, which is very cool. It doesn't fire, it's not a real gun. But yeah, so there we go. And also, we have another competition that is running as of tomorrow on the Discord for anyone who fancies a bit of a treasure hunt. The rules will be coming out tomorrow for that. And basically, it will be a treasure hunt around Aroa. You give us the information back, and the first one to get all the information correct will win a Delta loot code. So there we go. If you want to win one of those codes, or you want a chance to win the Coyote AR-15, head on over to the Discord, and that's how you win it. So, right, here we go. Let's crack on. Let's see what the Mark 18 is all about. Let's go. So let's first of all, let's have a look at the statistics for the Mark 18. It's got pretty good accuracy, according to this, about kind of middle of the road, which is what you would expect from like a CQB weapon like this. Its handling is above average according to the statistics here. Range, not so good. Now, I definitely agree with that. The range could be better. Up close, this thing's devastating, but yeah, range is not so good. I'm wondering if even those statistics are possibly even higher than they should be. I don't know. Possibly. Mobility, it is very good, very mobile with this. And of course, recoil is very, very manageable. We will go to the test site in a minute. But one of the things that I find interesting about this weapon is that, obviously, first of all, loads of people have been asking for it, and they've finally given it to us, which is great. But I actually think the sound of the gun is really nice. It's definitely, I think, personally, one of the best sounding guns in the game. As you can hear right now, when you go loud, it's just satisfying. They've really nailed that. And when it's suppressed, it's probably louder than some of the other suppressed weapons in the game. I don't mind that. It doesn't bother me. Probably slightly more realistic, if anything. But overall, it's a lovely looking weapon, obviously. Let's have a look at some of the things that you can get with it. So obviously it comes with all of the magazines that you would expect it to. Suppressor wise, yeah, everything that you would expect to be in there is in there. Nothing hidden really. In terms of obviously the rail, all the things that you want. Most people, I imagine, use them all. So yeah, you can cover all of that. Scopes wise, pretty much the same, you know, the same amount of scopes that you would get on most of the average assault rifles in the game. And stocks, there's a really good selection of stocks, as you can see. The A2M, the ARM, CTR, CTR SLK, the Course CP, the DDCB, E1, EMOD, HMM, iMod, the MBRS, the M4, the MSU, the Mini CQB, the SOCON 1, the TAC Lite, and the UBR Gen 2. So a good selection there. In terms of triggers, you've obviously got the auto burst and the auto single trigger. And the under barrel rail. Now this is the important bit because people have been asking this. Obviously you get a decent selection, but most importantly for a lot of people you can use the grenade launcher and you can also use the under barrel shotgun. Now in terms of the rest of the statistics for this gun, damage is 22, 800 rounds per minute. Obviously it says it's got 50 round magazine, but you can put the ASR extended in. The 5.56 ammo, and it's got a reload time of 2.95. So that is the weapon. Let's head over now to the range and have a look and see how it gets on. Okay, so this is without the silencer on. So there's our first shot. Let's see some well aimed single fire there. It's pretty decent, well aimed. There's a good grouping by the looks of it. It's not bad at all. So now we are going to switch over to fully auto. As you can see, obviously the recoil, as you would expect for a kind of just over mid-range recoil does start kind of going all over the place at the top there. But to start with, it's a decent grouping by the looks of it, but we will check with the drone in just a second. But overall, I don't think that's too bad. Like I said, when you're out in the real world, it feels good. But this is now with the suppressor, because we're at 50 meters here. It's really important. This is the 50-meter mark. So a single shot with the suppressor. There's our marker. These are kind of fairly well aimed. As you can see, not much recoil at all really. That is a decent grouping, same as without the suppressor. So now we're going to go full auto with the suppressor. Very similar pattern. There it is again. I mean, okay, slightly tighter than the other one, but to be honest, I don't think there's much in it at all really. I was just firing slightly far apart last time, but let's zoom in and have a look. So as you can see, there it is without the suppressor, single shot. Really good grouping for well aimed. You won't have any problems with that at 50 meters. And then obviously the recoil starts to kick in at the top there, but overall good. And with the suppressor on, really good grouping again. Excellent at 50 meters, and once again very similar recoil. It's not really made any difference whatsoever, but not bad at all on full auto. Those first few accurate shots will do the job. So we're at 100 meters now, just to make it a bit more interesting. So the silencer is off. There's our first round down. I'm going to put some well aimed shots down. As you can see, the recoil is not really bringing the weapon up much at all. You know, if you're out in the wild at 100 meters, you're not going to have any issues whatsoever with people with this gun. Even though the damage is only fairly low, it is, I think it's quite powerful. It does the trick. There is full auto, lining it up again. Pretty much sticking to the same recoil pattern there. So now we are going to swap over to single shot with the suppressor on and see how we go. Once again, this is still obviously 100 meters. So it's some well aimed rounds. As you can see, hardly any recoil at all with a well aimed shot. Just maybe just getting away a little bit at the end there. And so what we're going to do now is obviously switch over again and full auto with the suppressor on and see if we get the same results. As you can see, it's kind of snaking up a bit like the others were. That's my fault, that second one there. But the recoil does push a little bit harder, obviously, on the 100 meters. But overall, it's decent. So let's get the drone out and have a look. Once again, right, let's come down the bottom here. Good group in there at 100 meters. you're not going to have any issues whatsoever. Like I said, no issues whatsoever. They're quite tight in that first grouping. Obviously the recoil is spread out further here at 100 meters, and it was 50, but it's still good. That first initial burst will get the kill, and with the suppressor on, very tight indeed. That's really good, and pretty much the same result. You know, the recoil is obviously becoming more unmanageable as the more rounds burst out, but overall this is really, really good stuff, to be honest. I think it's a good weapon. Where would I put it? Probably, I would probably put this in and around between number 5 and number 10 so far on my own personal weapon of choice. Now obviously this is a very new weapon, and I will probably try it on a raid to see how it does against some of the bosses. I don't raid that often, but when I do, you know, the 4AC is the king of the raid, but I will give it a go, see how it gets on. Obviously try and do some more base clearing, things like that, go loud with it, do some, you know, just do a bit of everything. But, you know, I've had a couple of hours in with this weapon already because of the test as well. And overall, I think everyone's going to really like this gun. Well worth using. I think this might become a few people's go-to weapon. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.